Good morning, everyone. This is Ahmad Moradi. Wanted to say hello and wish everyone a happy Thursday. And today we are going to talk about some updates from our previous session that we were talking about blockchain. And one of the areas that we wanted to start with is giving you a little highlight of last week so we can move to the next week. So this is a two-part story. Last week we started talking about some blockchain and how blockchain and WebRTC and Internet of Everything can really marry each other and create a new trustworthy sessions that it can allow people communicate, uh, establish communications and collaborate or broadcast or share or transact or commerce. So with that in mind, Maddie, if you don't mind, well, I have to do it myself because I'm the broadcaster. Sorry. So I forgot. This time I'm the one who's doing the broadcasting. I also want to share something with you because I'm going to broadcast from one of our CDN partners that we've been working for over a decade. They have been able to create the stream of real-time communications, crossing it over HLS and MPEG Dash. And you can watch our event right now at isocialtv.com/forward pixel t with the Twitter page in there. And the general idea is that we can live cast this and over traditional streaming, and then you can watch it on your iPhone, in your Android devices, and so forth, and multicast yourself from a digital media room to many. So this area that we are talking about right now, you're going to see some of the examples. We have created 2 point of entries right now. One is being broadcasted to you through Facebook Live, and the other one is being broadcasted through CDN. The reason we are showing this kind of technology is because we want people to see the diversity of our digital media rooms, its use and applications, where we don't have any download, any install, and any apps. And then we will be able through desktop accommodate series of features that you're seeing in here. Unlike most video conferencing software that they all have download install for various tools, we have different layers of security, but this is not the subject today we are talking about. So we're going to go back to explaining about our previous conversation of top 10 promises of blockchain technology. This document last week was published by Pamela Zoni at BlockGeeks. So for those of you who want to learn about it more, we suggested that you visit BlockGeeks. And we are going to be talking about those top 10 projects that we feel it was not worthy to discuss and show how it can become a game changer. We started last week with the top 10 promises. So we started with the one that it was called Civil. This site was designed mostly for the journalism. And as you can see, it's one of the fast growing community of top journalists and technologists working together to build a home for trustworthy, sustainable journalism without what we call fake news or any of those. So this is a really interesting project that we looked at it as number 9. Last week, we also looked at Coin for transportation. This was another project which was number 9 in our list, and it's Disrupt the Disruptors. This was where Vitalik Buterin, founder of Ethereum, talked about whereas most technologies tend to automate workers on a periphery doing many of the tasks, but this particular blockchain was applied to disrupt the disruptors. So imagine you're disrupting Uber and bringing the taxi drivers the power to connect directly to their customers. So this was another project that we looked at last week. Then the next item was protecting personal data. Privacy is really extremely important to all of us as we are seeing violation of data and the hackers, including ourselves, that we have become victim of the circumstances. We are now looking at companies like Enigma, where they are making decentralization work and building this kind of security that allows you to use blockchain for that purpose. It's a protocol that promises to protect the privacy of data while still allowing for computation to run. And it allows users to maintain control over data, particularly through preventing its monetization or analysis of platform. Next item is what we call charitable giving. This is a social impact Alice created, where ICO came to formation for building a way for community to reach out and create a funding source, okay, through blockchain technologies. So Alice was one of the ways to accomplish this, where you can bring transparency and social funding, and the lenders and so forth, they can connect together. So it was really an interesting conversation last week. Next item was empowering growth farmers to connect to the investment. This is extremely crucial to sustainability and growth, because without farmers, we are not going to be able to sustain Mother Earth. So we always look at this kind of areas where farmers can be powered by peer-to-peer platform, connecting lenders to profitable farming and communities around the globe. So there are initiatives going on in here last week that we discussed about. The next item was really moving toward energy, which is another item very dear to us. It was creating grid and powers where you can build sectors for thriving blockchains and connecting those to IoTs. These initiatives are taking place in different parts of the earth, as you can see, in different locations and so forth. And we like to, again, embrace them for taking those kind of initiatives and talking about that it's a power ledger. This ledger allows individuals and communities to put talents, pool of resources, electricity, and build a low-cost, reliable, renewable network within their own communities and so forth. So this really becomes something that you can generate surplus electricity to trade it with their neighbors for fair returns and so forth, where decentralization of power comes back to the hands of people. So the next item was really reaching out to the most vulnerable people. This is an initiative done by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It was a review and program that taken looking at like Jordan as a refugee camp that runs on blockchain right now. And these initiatives are articles that has been published. We looked at that as one of the number 4 that we discussed about it last week. And we said that is crucial to the way that we are using or planning to use blockchain. Again, our general idea is not really endorse anything, it's just showing people and our clients and our participants and viewers that things like putting program for Ethereum blockchain that is sponsored by World Food Program, WFP, and settled and creating transactions where you can all of a sudden feed hundreds of thousands or 500,000 of people, refugees in a country or in a land. These initiatives become substantial in blockchain market. That's why it can become game changer. So it's not all about money, it's about how decentralized ledger can create trust factor versus a centralized when somebody can go and tamper with the record and lose the authenticity. This week we are going to spend a little bit more time about number 3, which we felt, again, it's environmental. It's Earth Bank of Codes. Our deepest hope as humans lies in technology, but our deepest trust lies in nature. According to W. Brian Arthur, the general idea is to be able to take Earth Bank of Codes that it aims to make nature's biological and biomedics assets visible and accessible to scientists and innovators around the globe, while tackling biopiracy and ensuring fair and equitable sharing and commercial benefit that may ensure in alignment with the conversation of biodiversity and protocols that now is called Earth Bank of Codes. This is the definition that they brought in by this group. And Earth Bank of Code is actually a what we called earthbankofcodes.org, if you will, and it provides a series of information for you that you're seeing here, unleashing the inclusive bio. And then again, the general idea is showing you that they are taking the 4th industrial revolution technologies that you see in here and building into a biomagical and biometric assets, and then delivering this kind of services. So I'm gonna just show you a little bit in here on a video Now, one of my colleagues was saying that the video may not work very good in here, so we're going to try it a little bit, and here is a little video clip that we're going to feature. So this was in number 3 of our list. And another area that we all, especially in the United States, where we have been victimized by Russian hackers and the scandal on the election and so forth, everybody's trying to create a playing level field, if you will, for this area. Organizations such as Thailand, for example, that we have talked to in election commissions and so forth, they're all looking for solutions to be able to make the voting authenticated, verified, and so forth. So initiative that is taking place in this market for being able to create a vote watcher, a gentleman with the name of Nick Spanos initiated this mission to bring complete transparency to the modern electoral system and empower every voice by providing the most technological, advanced, reliable, and secure voting mechanism in the world. And that is the source, what we call Vote Watcher. And you can, again, come to votewatcher.com and take a look at their site. But that will give you a general idea that initiative on blockchains that is going on is highly diverse, and it goes from different spectrum of views and imagination and thought views. We believe these uses have to be implemented into similar thing that we see in our digital media room as WebRTC, because it brings the real-time broadcast collaboration into blockchain. And that is one of the most elements, because trust factor in blockchain right now is a gray area. That's one of the reasons that companies that are trying to use a server engine or a program such as Bitcoin or Ethereum or Hyperledger or Dragonchain or any of these other, they want to deal and associate themselves with the reputable organizations. Next item in our list, which is basically the number 1 climate or combat climate change. This site became number 1 list according to, again, BlockGeeks. The climate change is probably the biggest environmental challenge we are facing. We all live in different parts of Earth, as we all know. We are seeing drastic changes happening, some through what we believe is man-made, and some through Mother Nature, and some past 2012 from the Aztec dates of calendar where polarity are shifting. NASA has verified that. Extreme weather changes are going to take place in the next few years. So in this kind of initiative, there are technology that, again, can empower us to understand what we want to do. So they are, again, on the side that they have Climate Change Coalition.io, which is a program that is initiated from 2017 by 20 countries, 100 organizations around the globe, and the members are trying to embrace this standard. Obviously, the team and so forth that they have put together was sponsored early this year by United Nations, that announced to help launch a new group called Climate Change Coalition, CCC. The global initiative aims to support collaborating, and that's where we bring the collaboration among members to advance blockchain to help mobilize. So we encourage our partners and colleagues not only to use this kind of services or get inspirations from this, but also apply into digital media rooms, to WebRTC standards, WebSockets, to IoTs, to AI, BI, and various other areas where we can also get creative into the VR, virtual reality, and augmented reality. And as you probably have seen, some of the new searches are changing. For example, if you've looked at the new Android Pixel 3 phone by Google and Motorola, you will realize that they are now transforming the new generation of search where you can point your camera to any object eventually and be able to get the data, and that becomes the next generation of search engine. So things that they are evolving and changing, and we are going into this transformation. We want you all to be aware that blockchain will play a pivotal role into our organizational settings and how we can see everything. So with that in mind, again, we want to thank you for attending. We were simultaneously multicasting it on iSocial TV /Pixel T as a test for some of our CDN partners. And next week, we hope to shed some light about some other topic of interest that it comes from certain other areas that we feel that it complements, again, the blockchain and some of the strategies that we are seeing being deployed in different parts of the world. So we'll share those with you. For that, I want to thank you for joining us again this week, and we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. Ciao.